So, hey guys, Chauzu here. So here's a team that my OPTC friend Antonin sent me. It uses free-to-play Uta as captain. This might look very weird. 3.75 times captain. When she uses her special, she can go up to 1.2 times extra, so somewhere about 4 times attack, so not that big. But what makes her a potential good captain for Buggy 5, which we're going to play here, is that she can remove Bind and the Spear. And by doing this, you kind of bypass the need to remove the special bind right away. And you can remove it later with Boa, who can remove special bind anyway. So it's a really cool team. Sadly though, it lacked survivability. I couldn't survive the second turn. It does have some cool strats like the Soba here giving an attack boost, so that when you use Law's special, you get his secondary effect of a Orb boost for 2 turns, 2.5 times. If that was 3 turns, these teams will be so good. But sadly, it ends up being a damage problem for the final turn. His team used the free-to-play Luffy, which makes sense, 2 times attack and pinch shielding and everything. But it ends up being too little HP to survive turn 2. So I made my own variant, but I will leave a link in the description to Antonin's channel. Check him out, he's great. My variation uses Luffy and Ace with Viper support. Viper support plus Uta removes all Bind and the Spear. And Luffy and Ace are pretty dope since they have 7% strength damage reduction and pinch shielding, so survival is no issue with them. The issue of course is that they do damage to all enemies, so we can't use them final stage. One other thing nice with the thing though is that they remove slot bind with their swap, so we're able to remove that and have 5 units with matching orbs. This also frees up a support on Law, so Law will have Chopper support, and final turn all we'll be using is that Law with Chopper. So yeah, we do use Law as friend captain too. So we're going to do the playthrough here, and I've been working on these teams for some time. I'm going to be very transparent here and say that ultimately Uta does not beat Buggy 5, but we do get really close and the process is pretty interesting, so I hope you stick around and watch anyway. And yeah, we do use Shark Superb. That might sound weird since you don't really think about Shark Superb when it comes to survivability, but the thing is that like we get the same HP with Shark or any other ship because Law doesn't heal us to full with his special, and even if he did, Law overheals, so it doesn't matter. So we use Shark because it gives us the maximum damage. It also opens up for some RNG. Not really with this team, since we have Luffy and Ace, and we can use their special stage 4, since we can't use it final stage. But yeah, it can open up some RNG, especially with a weaker captain like Uta. If you get bad orbs, you might not always kill all enemies in one turn. And the main issues, of course, are stage 3 and 4. Another issue with using Shark is that recovery orbs are not matching. So if any unit gets a recovery orb, except for the friend captain Law, the run is over and you have to reset. But yeah, let's go through the strats here. And I think the strats are ingenious, and again, most of these strats were made up by Antonin. He contacted me in private, asked me to try it out since he didn't have high enough investment. And of course I do make some changes of my own, but the overall credit goes to him for sure. So he has 6 turns of Bind and the Spear left after that. We start with Law's Super Claws, because if we use Uta special first, we get her Death Down conditional boost instead, which we don't want. Shank support on this team, so we get a high color affinity. And then we use Law, so we got attack boost, orb boost, death down conditional, and we also have the super tandem, so a lot of damage. Chain boost from Uta as well. So yeah, damage is no problem on turn 1. On turn 2, but yeah, we see the survival here. We survive comfortably, but this is in large thanks to the 7% damage reduction. If we had no damage reduction there, we'd be close to death or dead, basically. But yeah, we use Boa here, removes the special bind that we've ignored so far, and the attack down. We also have Cavendish support just to give her an attack boost. Honestly, without that extra attack boost, we don't do enough damage. So, well, it'd be nice to add some other stat boosting support, but it is what it is. And yeah, we could swap Luffy now to get them a quick orb. And yeah, the damage is tight, but it does work. So yeah, the problem comes now because, sure, we still have the Super Tandem, we still have the Death Down conditional, but we lose every other buff except for the Chain Lock and base attack. So we lost the Orb boost from Law and the Call of Unity for Robin and stuff like that. So all we have left now is Law, giving us an attack boost 2.75 times and the support for 1.5 times Call of Unity. So it feels like it should maybe be enough because Buggy's HP gets a bit lower and lower all the time. But sadly, as you'll see, it's not enough. And honestly, this difference means that this team is dead in the water, which made me very sad because it was a very cool team. Will have been nice to innovate with Luffy and Ace. The video is not over here because we here have another variant. We replaced the Luffy and Ace with the treasure map Luffy. I know you're sick of seeing him, but he made the most sense here. This Luffy has a 5% strength damage reduction, so it makes the damage tighter. He also doesn't have pinch healing, sadly, but we're able to get higher damage now, because on turn 3, we can get the attack boost from Law, and we get 1.75 times Call of Unity. It will be nice to run the Tandem Luffy, but as said, you can't survive with him. It actually ends up being the same damage, because sure, you get a 2 times attack boost from Tandem Luffy, but you don't get the attack boost from Law, you get the 2.5 times Orb boost instead. So it ends up being exactly the same number, so... yeah, this team is a lot more annoying, as you'll see. It's harder to reliably kill, for one. Stage 4 in particular is a big RNG fest. I got lucky here to get 2 Tandem Orbs stage 3, so I just had to keep going, basically. So yeah, stage 4, and a lot of things are going to look pretty similar, to be honest. The overall strat is the same, so we're using the exact same specials, basically. The main big difference here is that instead of Shang support on Uta, I put the Chopper support, because sure, it does give Color Affinity to quick, but it also does 3k HP heal, which I kind of forgot, and someone told me to try it. And basically that 3k HP makes this Luffy even possible to try and run. It's still going to be very tight next turn if we survive. But yeah, without that 3k HP, it's like no way it's ever happening. So yeah, we do lose some damage here because lower Call Affinity support, but I think you saw my investments. They are pretty insane for this particular team. So we don't have any issues killing anyway. Lower damage, sure, but... so yeah, next turn is the big one. As you see, we survive with 3k HP this time. So we take a lot more damage due to less strength damage reduction. But yeah, we're going to use Boa and Robin again. Same support, same as last team. The question now is, can we survive? Because we do have some end of turn healing. 1500 HP. And we also have some pinch healing of 4 units. So we do end up getting over 11k HP. So it's all about praying for that being enough, basically. So let's see if that's enough. And yeah, it's like 1k HP short, but first time I tried this, I noticed that, or I got lucky basically. I I already had Resilient Socket. And basically, first time I tried this, I survived. Usually, Resilient Socket shouldn't work against Moji and Kawaji, because there's 2 units you can only survive 1 attack. But the damage is so close that in the end, there's only 1 attack in the end that kills you. So Resilience Pockets can save you from that. Annoyingly, when I got that, I messed up after. So I had to keep trying for Resilience Sockets to even see if the damage stage 3 was enough. And yeah, since we're seeing this, we know now that the Resilience Sockets will finally proc, and I finally get a chance to try stage 3. But yeah, before that, we have some other issues to handle. Yeah, 1 HP there, Resilience. So if this team were to work, obviously we need to proc Resilience Sockets again later, but obviously that we can just keep resetting. For this particular Resilience Sockets, you have to redo the run if it fails. But yeah, here we need to keep resetting until Friend Captain Law gets a Tandem Orb, and you don't get any Recovery Orbs, since of course Recovery Orbs aren't matching with Shark Superb and this particular team. So yeah, this took maybe 10 resets, so not too bad. And now we finally are able to test this. Will this be enough damage? We got a bit higher color affinity with this team than the other. Will that be enough? But as I said before, we know it won't be enough. Will have been cool, but as you'll see, the damage is incredibly tight. So we basically just lack a good new ship. Basically, if we get the Limerick expansion ship, this team will definitely work. So look forward to that. If that happens, that's super close. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.